Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are down to the part that is probably the most important for you, is the practical applications of what we know and practical applications of our devices. What are the best ways of applying to the body to get the maximum effect from what you're doing. In order to do that, we will need a little piece of theory, but in the beginning, we suggest to start working right with the protocols and stick the theory in the middle. It will be it will be more interesting, probably. Let's imagine the simplest possible case. Let's imagine that someone you know or yourself has a problem that basically screams at you. Screams at you means the body is already paying attention to it, which is great. And it can be an acute problem or a chronic one. But this is a kind of problem that can be localized, can be clearly localized, so the body is aware of where it is located. Your client or you can basically point it with your finger and say, well, it hurts there. Like my knee hurts, my neck hurts, but you can basically point it with a finger or the area that you can cover with your palm. So it's fairly localized area. Let's start working with this one. It's simpler than the second case scenario would be when you know that you have a problem, but you don't know where it is. So that's a tricky one. You know that you don't really feel well, but you cannot pinpoint where this uneasy feeling is coming from. So that would be our second part, and for that we would need a piece of theory. But for this we kind of can jump into protocols right away. So let's imagine that we have this localized problem. Now let's see what this problem represents. And let's take the more difficult case of a chronic problem. We already know that this is an energy cyst, right? We already know that there's a kind of problem that was nagging for a while, that the body could not resolve on its own, so it preferred to isolate it, and right now it's just sitting there behind the barriers of energetic protective barriers, and it kind of flares up once in a while, or it can be just there, and if you start paying attention to it, it usually can say, well, pain is in a level of 2 to 3 typically, it's not often that it jumps higher than 4 or 5. Only when we call it a kind of a relapse, or if it's your knee, for example, you overstretched your knee or over-exercised, then it flares up. In other situations, it's just there. Your system knows it's there, you know it's there, but it doesn't bug you that much. So let's see what it represents. Okay, so here we have our pathology right in the middle, and this energetic barrier surrounding it, which protect it and isolate it. But in a way, the body cannot deal with this because it's behind the barriers. So we need to break those barriers in order to really fix it once and for all. As we already know, the best fixer and the best barrier breaker is our scanner. So that's what we will be using. We will all be using today the doves, okay, our little machines. And we will be working in healing partnerships, okay? So we will be working with each other. And you guys, if you know each other, so you figure out who will be working with whom. Right now, let me just explain you how we're going to do that, and then we'll try to break our energy cysts. Our energy cyst obviously is sitting somewhere inside, so it's deep buried in our body. But it always has a projection. It always can be projected on a skin surface, not in one area, but in several different areas. Imagine if you have, for example, gastritis and your stomach hurts. You can have a projection of a gastritis right on the front, right? Then you can have projection of a gastritis on a corresponding vertebra, which every chiropractor knows, which vertebra is responsible for stomach. Then you can have projection of a stomach and a gastritis on your ears, on your irises, on the palms of your hands, right? On the bottom of your feet, everywhere where our body as a holographic system has representation of every organ. And our systems repeat itself informationally in many, many different locations. Just remember that we are working with information rather than with the physical structure. So the size doesn't really matter. And we can affect organs and systems through the ears or through our fingers just as well as we can affect them directly. And acupuncture knows it for ages. So the same pathology, the same energy cyst can be represented in several different locations on the body. And going through each one, you can still access the energy cyst. So, energy cyst is an interesting structure in a way that it has also representation in the central nervous system. It's almost like a flashing red light in the central nervous system, which will let you know that this thing is there. And this flashing red light will keep the energy cyst going. So it's a very rigid structure which the body forms in order to help itself, but it's a double-edged sword. It helps itself, but it also takes the energy and keeps it here, not allowing the free energy flow in the body. Because obviously if you have energy cyst somewhere, if energy flows, it cannot flow through it. So it has to go around. And one cyst after another, and you have so many energy detours in the body that you don't have the free flow of energy in the body at all, or information. You have energy has to go all the sorts of different ways, find the ways around, and what it does to the system, it slows down information transfer. And our information transfer is our major source of coherence. So if we don't have the quick information transfer, then we start experiencing diseases. It's not easy to do something. Let's imagine how important it is, the quick information transfer. Let's say we have a pimple. Just little staphylococcus entered our system. It was scratch on the skin surface and some bug got in. So our body needs to develop quickly immune response, quickly form the inflammation around in order to prevent this bug from spreading around and from eating the tissues. So if the body is efficient, if information flows freely and nicely, then these barriers are formed real fast, and the body isolates that little place where your bug, staphylococcus, ate some tissue. So you will have a little bit of pus, which is obviously tissues that has been destroyed, and inflammation around. Not a big deal, little pimple. But let's imagine that second case scenario, when information doesn't flow freely. And in order to send information to the brain or central nervous system and get the response, it takes twice or 3 times longer. So by the time you get your responses, your bug is eating the tissue. So instead of little pimple, you will have a big boil, just because your information was really, really slow. And the body didn't have time to develop the appropriate response. The same thing happens in our body all the time. And if we have eliminated most of our energy cysts, then it flows straight forward. If we have many of them, and we all accumulate energy cysts with age, unresolved issues on physical level as well as emotional or spiritual level or mental level, we have energy cysts all over, many of them. And they all attract energy resources. They all have energy stagnated there. So it's not much left for the rest of the body. And it's not allowing for the flow to happen. It's not allowing for coherency to happen. So if we want really to heal, not just from one thing, but systemically, we need to deal with those cysts one after the other. Well, let's do that. So let's see where our cyst is projecting itself on the body and how it will be identified. The easiest way to identify where the cyst is with our scanner. Because scanner is constructed to find it. It's Dr. David also called a stud finder. So, yeah, quoting you. So what you will do, you will turn your DAV on, and let's imagine I have an elbow problem. It's just easier for me. So I know it's tennis elbow, so if I move my arm, it hurts somewhere here. I can't quite locate it. I know it's somewhere in this area. We need to find where is this place where our energy cyst projects itself on the skin. And why do we need to find that place? Because this place will be a gateway. It will be the most direct way to your pathology. Cannot be more direct. Your pathology already tells you, I am here. So if you're on that place, every signal that you are sending through that gateway will have to go through energy cyst. Information tends to flow into the brain and back. So in order to go, if we are standing on one of this place where energy cyst projects itself, in order for information to go into the central nervous system, to the brain, it has to go this way, right? Through the cyst. And the response will be sent the same way, back. What does it do? It shakes the energetic barrier. So the more signals we send in and out, the more information flow we have to create. It's almost like a swing effect. Information goes in and out, in and out, in and out. And by going in and out, it will be breaking the barrier. It will be breaking the energy cyst. Just because it has to go through it. But in order for that to happen, we need to find that place of projection of the energy cyst on the skin. We call these places active sites. In Russian terminology, it's called small asymmetry. It's a little bit different for North Americans, so that's we gave it a different name. We call it an active site. So if you're on active site with a scanner, you have a direct way to your pathology. You can break the barriers. Turn your DAV on and just start moving it around the place, kind of in the area that hurts the most, kind of just around. And in about 30 seconds or a minute, you will start feeling some areas which are different from the rest. And the difference will be in several different ways. You can have your difference in several different ways like this. So the most common sign of active site is a sticky area. Your device literally will be difficult to move. It will be stuck to the skin and you will feel resistance pretty strong when you're trying to move it. So that's the kind of our favorite sign because it's very bright, very intensive. Another sign would be skin may change color in that area and become pinkish or more pale than usual. Another sign would be the sound of the device. All of a sudden, usually the device, when it moves, you move it along the skin, it produces kind of a shaving sound, like a buzzing sound. And in certain areas, the buzz will drop. It will down. Or in some areas, it will become louder. Anything that is different from the other areas of the skin is your sign. It's an active site. The fourth sign is a sensitivity to your influence. So some areas will be more sensitive than others, and some are less sensitive. And sometimes the body actually screams at you, because what it will show you, it will be sudden rush, all of a sudden like a little pimples will develop right in front of your eyes, or little hives. You can see them developing right in front of your eyes. You don't even have to wait for it. It takes about 30 seconds to a minute to appear. These areas usually are active sites that scream at you, walk here, I want you here. And when you found them, then you're going to work on them. But before we even identify the active sites, let's do something else. Because as you saw us doing this with the coherent body treatment, before you start doing anything, you do what we call the initial assessment. You have to screen the system and find out what is the state at the moment. Because what you want, guys, you want your mind to be involved in the healing process also, not just physical body. And meaning that mind is involved. Your client's attention, your client's focus needs to be on the place that the system will be working on. Our job and our goal is to attract the body's attention to the problem. So the entire body's force is there. And with that I mean, yes, scanner can point the body's attention to the problem. We found small asymmetry, we found active site, it will be right here. It's right now with our pathologic, dynamic, neural-like impulse. It's screaming at the body, so the body is okay, I see you, I see you, I see you. But you want your client's intention be there too. You want your client's emotions be there too. Helping, pushing the process forward, helping it develop, helping it to break the cyst. In order to do that, we have a series of questions that you need to ask your client. So, we ask client to close their eyes, and before we even go into any procedure, just look inside and identify the areas of main complaints. You need to find one. The body cannot take care of several problems at the same time. It doesn't have enough energy resources. Let's concentrate just on one. But for that, your client needs to separate it clearly where the main complaint is. If they concentrate their attention on that area, it means the body's attention will be there too. So we'll ask them to select the area of main complaint, and if several complaints are present, what we usually do, we ask a client to assess each complaint on a scale from 0 to 10. Because complaint may be different. It may not be necessarily pain. It may be nausea. It may be itchiness. But they all have the scale. So the one that gets the higher grade, obviously your main complaint. And that's the one you will start with. You will get to the other ones later on, but let's start with something single, one main complaint. So let's say my main complaint again is pain in my elbow, and pain in my elbow, let's say 5. So we write it down, 5, pain in the elbow. Now we will assess the functions of the area. Because my elbow can have full range of motions, and that would be great. But it can, maybe the motions are restricted, and I have only certain degree of motions. And if I manage in the end of my procedure, increase my range of motions to 10 or 20 degrees, it's already a good thing. It's already good progress. Function is what we are after. We are not after really structural changes at this moment. What we want to restore the body's functioning. So the range of motions needs to be full. So screen that. Now what you also want to do, you want to palpate the area and see if there is a place of discomfort with palpation, and if it corresponds to the place of pain, as a client can identify. Palpation attracts additional attention to the problem. You don't have to do it. Just screening main complaint, assessing it as a grade, it's enough, and assessing function. But if you palpate it, or let your client palpate it, doesn't matter, you don't have to do it yourself, you can ask your client. But that would additionally attract the body's attention. Obviously, body wants to pay attention to the place that is being touched. So that's additional attention. Okay, so now you have it. Now you know the place, now you know the initial condition. Let's start looking for our active sites. What you want to do, you want to set your energy level of your machine to be not too high. And we usually prefer to establish an area somewhere away from area that you are working on. Let's say I'm doing the on my wrist. And what I want to do, I want to find the sensation or the level of energy which is comfortable. I want to feel some vibrations. I want to feel some little prickling sensation, but I don't want it to be too painful. But I also want to feel it. 99% of your clients will like to feel it. So there is a button on the DAV that you can press to increase the energy level to desirable sensation. So we set the energy level. And now, let's imagine this guy here has our complaint like somewhere here, and I have my complaint on my elbow. So what are we going to do? We're going to move our machine in the grids in a vertical from the top to the bottom and from the left to the right, this way. Slowly covering the area that hurts and below, above it. So like way larger than the actual area of pain. With my elbow, that would be this way. So I will start covering this way. And I want to go that way too. And I may want to do it several times until I find the places that will be different, until I find my active sites, until I find the stickiness, sensitivity, change in color, change in the sound. So we call it painting. So we are painting the area. And painting the area is actually the most simple way of finding where the active site is. So not a big deal. From the top to the bottom, from the left to the right, we call it working along the vector like this. And after a while, you will clearly identify that's where your active site is. Now, after you identified it, now you know that's the place where your energy cyst is projecting itself. Now, how do we work with this in order to break the cyst? Okay, we already got that. Now we need to remove the signs of active sites or small asymmetries. So there are several ways of doing it. And the simplest probably way, which is the only way for cosmetic devices, but for the scanner devices such as DAV, it's one of the two choices. It's a static way. Meaning you found it, you put it, you wait for the dose. That's it. No brainer. Found the site. As soon as you found the site, put it there, wait for the dose. When it's enough, machine will give you the sign. 4 lights will lit up, and the machine will be creating like a beep, 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 beep. Will give you a beeping sound. Dose. Means enough. Identified the point where the body is now switching to the regeneration mode. Now you can do the same thing again and see, because mostly likely we broke something in energy cyst, but it's unlikely that we broke it completely. So now the energetic cyst changed a little bit, and now it projects itself differently. So now if we do the same procedure again, most likely we will find stickiness a little bit in a different place. So it will be, let's say, here. Dose this one. And just keep going like this. The cyst will be changing. You will be chasing the active sites. How long? Well, as long as you get a good gain. You can get a drop in your complaint. Let's say my pain from 5 gone down to 1. It's a good gain. And range of motion, if I had restriction in 10 degrees and it's gone, it's a good gain. It's subjective, how far you can go. Our general suggestion is, if you're treating a chronic problem, don't go further than 40-45 minutes into the treatment, because it's a little bit too much in the system. And especially if it's early, 40-45 minutes. And especially if it's early exposure, like a first or second session, it can provoke a healing crisis. Sometimes the body just is so happy that now finally it can do something. That is just, oh yeah, okay, let's do it. And it brings energy into the area and accelerates everything. And for client, it's good, but it's unpleasant because all your complaints will flare up. It's a chronic problem, so chronic problem will be more acute for a while. We like it, it's good, but clients don't, because sometimes healing crisis may be really unpleasant. So in order to avoid that, we suggest don't go further than 45 minutes. It's usually enough for the body to have a good gain and yet not to be too much. So, chase the small asymmetry, dose each time when you find it. So that's a static way, that's simple. Now the second way is dynamic way. And dynamic, it means that as soon as you find the site, now you will be painting it too. But the painting is not just in any way, it's actually in several directions. As soon as you find your active site, you stay on it for about 30 seconds to a minute, and then you will be moving it. But you will be moving it in a certain order. Like your first move would be from the top to the bottom. And you can select any number of strokes, 3, 5, 7, whatever is more convenient, feels right for you, but you have to stick with that. So let's say it's 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Your next move will be from the left to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Your next one from the right to the left. 5 times. And the final will be making a cross from the bottom up. What you are looking for? You are looking for the direction which is the most restrictive. The direction in which your active sites show itself the brightest. The stickiness is the strongest, the sensitivity is the highest, the color changes the most. So the ones in which the body gives you the most response. And as soon as you find it, you just keep going in that direction. So let's say, well, one more time here. From top to the bottom, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, for example. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and bottom up. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And my most difficult direction and my sinus stickiness is this way. So because I found it, I just keep going. And I keep going until the sign disappears. That's my agenda. To get rid of that active site until it becomes smooth and just as sensitive as the rest of the areas. And sound equalizes. As soon as you removed your active site, it means your energy is changed. And now you can try again to paint the area, check the functions, and move somewhere else. So 2 different ways, static and dynamic. Is it more or less kind of easy? Okay, we'll practice on it in just in a second. And then you can, of course, have a combined way. You can combine dosing and moving in different directions on the same procedure. So not a big deal. Okay, well, let's practice. Talk, right? Let's do something. Let's do something. Just close your eyes, guys, and concentrate on your body. And see if your body even doesn't have maybe pain or ache at the moment, but maybe there is some area where your body asks for help. And when you find that area, ask your body how strong is the disease, because there is something not easy there, and quantify it on a scale from 0 to 10. It can be stiffness, it may be numbness, it may be itchiness. It may be all, but try to find the one that you can localize. We cannot really work, we are not skillful enough to work on the problems that are all over. Try to find the local one. And the one that screams at you the most. Your main complaint. You identified your main, and it may not be easy. Sometimes our bodies are so immersed in the many different things that it tries to do that it cannot really even identify itself or understand itself. So it may take a little effort from you and screening, scanning from your body from the top down. Like if you okay, how is my head? How are my eyes, my ears, my throat, my mouth? And keep scanning. And see, sometimes, oh really, I forgot that I had that pain. Now when you found it, now let's identify what the level of it is, and if you can assess the function of that area. If this is something that you can move, see if range of motion is full. If this is something that you can palpate and see how sensitive it is. And mark it in your mind's eye, or better yet on a piece of paper. Scan your body, separate the complaints, find the brightest one, the main one. Ask your body how strong it is on a scale from 0 to 10. And then try to get the functions of that area and see how that complaint affects your body's functions. Okay, got that? Everyone got that? Write it down so you don't forget. Or mark it in your mind's eye.
I got it.
Okay, good. That was easy, right?
I did all day.
Okay, guys. Now let's treat each other. Let's form healing partnerships, and because you already know how you do that, so let's do it. Did you find who is working with whom? Are you okay with that? And we will need obviously devices, one device per couple. And if you guys don't have it, we will be happy to give it to you to work with. You need one. Okay, great. Here is a dove for you. Actually, I'll give you probably one of these guys. Okay, so whoever needs the dove, let me know. Okay, oh, you just drop it. Okay, you guys have the dove. You have the dove. Good. It's better to use the dove at this point, so I will give it to you. Okay, you can. It's yours.
I wanted to ask you.
Does Lisa have something?
Okay, anyone else needs it up?
Is this how you adjust the power?
Plus. I'll get to that in a second. Here we go. Okay, you have the dove. Okay, everyone has the machines, right? Good. Okay, now there is a little switch on the side. In order to turn the dove on, you push the switch forward. And now in order to find the level of energy, you just put it somewhere, and there is a plus that you keep doing this, or you may keep your finger on it and find the most comfortable area. Now you take your partner, right? And you will be painting around the area that will be shown. Obviously, we need to work on the skin, so make sure you have a good access to the skin in that area. And just, sure. Oh yeah. Here we go. Oops. Oh, this one doesn't have a battery. I'll go get the batteries, but. I will need you. It's time. We start working in partnerships. I need you.
I'm trying to make this deposit thing work.
Okay, I need you now. I can't handle the group.
Okay.
Can I be more clear on that? try it on the client. You have to try it on the client. Yeah. Yeah.
Starting. What is this supposed to do? To continue plussing it?
Until you feel it. Yes.
You felt it.
Yeah. Continue plussing it, and as soon as you feel it, that's fine. Now you want where is the pain?
Here.
Oh, so you can localize it. Good. So we still need to paint it and to make sure. So you were doing this, right?
Can you just, she should barely feel that? He should barely feel that?
No, it can be.
No.
So you kind of paint it.
Okay.
And actually, what is showing
What's the
me?
sound? The sound?
Yeah, yeah. And that your sticky area is actually a little bit like over here, right? Well, you can feel it yourself, and you can do that. So that's where it's showing actually, right there.
Okay.
So try it, you will see it. And as you find it, you can walk through it or just stay on it. Yeah, it's
Okay,
easy.
once you find it, then what? You stay with
Then you can just stay on it, or you can brush through it. It will dose. The machine will dose. It will show you.
And what will dosing mean?
It will be beeping, like all 4 lights will lit up. That's okay. Just stay on it. It may take a while. All 4 lights will lit up one after the other, and then machine will give you a beep, like beep, 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 beep.
Louder than what it was.
Oh yeah, much louder.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Well, see, already 2 lights, but it may take a little while.
And what does it mean? What has it
It
done?
means that a certain change has been achieved in the body that is enough to move somewhere else. Something, the body is doing something. Yeah.
And when
Yeah, well, you already get 3 lights, so you're getting.
you're moving somewhere else, do you still do the plus and the minus in the other spot? Or
Can you hear that?
Yeah,
That's it.
That's it.
Can you hear that? That's it. So now you can repeat that and see if the sticky area moved somewhere. So you paint all around and see maybe some area somewhere else.
It feels smooth. That's still very sticky right in there.
Well,
Sticky is just
then do
right.
it. It's not quite the same area, and what I'm getting is like a little. It moved a little bit just over here.
right.
So you do another dose, and then you try the knee and see how it, how it works, and if pain changed, if function improved, and keep going.
Thank you.
Very welcome. Just keep going around the knee and check it once in a while. Okay, check the knee.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, after we...
Okay, how are we doing over here? Let me see.
Going like this and kind of sticky spot.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Dosing on that.
Awesome. Okay. Great. I know. Okay.
So when it's done, essentially it means that it has defragmented sufficiently. in the
Correct.
language of the
That's
consumer.
it. Means that the barriers of the cyst broke a little bit.
Yes.
So the cyst changed.
Okay.
So we get some change, and that's what we want. We wanted some kind of a change.
Okay. Thank you.
Hey, you got a light?
What we don't like is stability. We want some dynamics.
Yes,
We don't like stability.
Okay, I found a sticky spot, so now
Good.
what am I doing?
Just stay there and wait for the dose.
How do I know that it's finished the dose?
All 4 lights will lit up, and it will give you the beep, 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 like this. Oh, see, already 2. So you need all 4. It can be just soon. There we go. So now try again. See if it's still there. And what you want to do, a little bit. Yeah, it's difficult to find the sticky spot when
It's all sticky. That's what I was telling her.
So you want to brush through and see if it's still there. But what I'm getting is it moved a little, and I think it's moved like right over here. And with Ruth, it's actually more redness. Will be not even sticky spot, but more color. See where the color concentrated? It's like right over here. Right, Ruth? Is it like right here? Yeah. So that's where it is. That's the body is showing. You see? So it does this one.
Okay.
Okay, keep going. Okay, guys, it seemed to be general question. How do you know when it's enough? Okay, there are 4 lights on your dove, and each light will start lighting up one after another if you keep the machine on one spot. So you will see second light goes on and the third light, and when the fourth light goes on, the machine will give you a certain kind of characteristic beep. Beep, 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 beep. That means that the dose, your energy source changed, you can try again and move somewhere. And most likely your new active site will be a little bit in a different location, okay? So you just keep going. And don't forget to check your functions of the area and see the change. Keep going.
Plus a little bit. Right.
What?
I heard there was no
The bloody thing is not dosing, eh?
pretty well.
Yeah, I know. I know that. We all know that.
Yeah.
How much my knee is sucking up. I've been
Great, wonderful.
crazy, but it is.
But it's good. It's good. But it needs a lot of fixing. It means basically sucking energy. Literally sucking it.
I know, it's amazing. How is that bad?
Well, that's why, because we block it. We are not even aware how bad it is. It's just there.
So now that has a focus. That tissue, that system has
Okay.
We've already done one dose, and then I painted and cleared
Awesome.
that, and
now
then I'm
it
going
won't
back.
read any
Great.
dose.
Awesome.
But you can take it off and go for our next stick area.
Okay, guys, who forgot the order of things? Right on the wall. Okay, just follow the order. Okay. Okay, so you want to give it to David or what?
Yeah, he wanted me to print it out and
Okay. Okay, thanks.
Does it work? Did you do it?
Yeah. Cool.
And there's the
That's just
probably shredded or whatever.
Now, guys, the little trick: if your area is not dosing for a long time, and for some of you it will not be happening, it means that area is really sucking energy, really needs some more. There are two lasers here, okay? Right? Logically, you need to add energy to the area. And you will be shining it, your dove in one area, your laser in the other.
What mode?
Oh, just one. Just and this is to turn on, and press one for mode one, and shine it just your dove in one hand and the laser in another. Okay. Yes. One. So now we are working with the fusion. So just shine your laser on the place. Anyone laser? Anyone needs a laser? God. People are not jumping on the laser.